We were looking at this question related to joint PMF of two random variables. We first said that we can rewrite this joint PMF in the form of a table where we know where here x takes values 0 and 1. We've already made this table in earlier part, so let's just quickly remake it. And here we can just write the values of y, which are 1, 2, and 3, and then this is 0.18, this is 0.16, this is 0.13. This is 0.11, this is 0.11, this is 0.31. So we talked about how to find any probability concerning x and y from the joint PMF. We just sum up the joint PMF over those values of x and y. We've already done the first three parts, so moving on to part D. Part D was probability x is less than y. Like we said, to find the probability x is less than y, we will sum up the joint PMF over all those values where x is less than y. So let's see. Here x is 0, y is 1, this counts as where x is less than y, x is 0, y is 2, this counts as where x is less than y, x is 0, y is 3, this counts as where x is less than y. Here x and y are both 1, so this does not meet the criterion x is less than y. Here x is 1, y is 2, this is where x is less than y. Here x is 1, y is 3, so this is where x is less than y. So to find the probability that x is less than y, we're going to just sum up the joint PMF over all these values where x is less than y, which is 0.18 plus 0.13 plus 0.11 plus 0.11 plus 0.31, which turns out to be equal to 0.8. We could have alternatively done this slightly different way as well. We could have written probability x is less than y is 1 minus 0.16 is 0.84. Why would this work as well? This would work because joint PMF sums up to 1, which means the sum of all the probabilities in the joint PMF is equal to 1. Joint PMF sums to 1. Right? The sum of all the probabilities in the joint PMF is 1, and you wanted all probabilities except for 0.16, right? You wanted to sum up all the probabilities except 0.16. So one option is that you actually sum them all up, or use the fact that you can just do 1 minus 0.16, because the sum of all of these is 1. So if I just remove 0.16, I'll get the sum of these remaining. Should give me the probability x is less than y. So you could have done it in both ways. One is you could have individually summed up all these probabilities, or you could have used the fact that the joint PMF sums up to 1. So when I subtract from 1, the only probability that's not part of probability x is less than y will get the probability x is less than y. So now moving on to party. Party asks us to find probability y is less than 2.5. To find the probability y is less than 2.5, we'll just sum up the joint PMF over all those values where y is less than 2.5, regardless of what x is, because here we're not imposing any condition on x. So if you want to do part f, its probability y is less than 2.5. So again, remember, to find any probability using the joint PMF, we sum up the joint PMF over those values of x and y. So to find probability y is less than 2.5, sum up the joint PMF over all those values. We want to find the probability y is less than 5 over all those values where y is less than 2.5, regardless of what x is in this case, because we're not imposing any condition on x. So regardless of what x is. So y is less than 2.5 is this, right? This is y is less than 2.5, okay, y can be 2 or y can be 1. And we're going to sum up the joint P of these values regardless of what x is. So we're interested in this entire block, because over here, y is less than 2.5. It's either 1 or 2, regardless of whatever x is, right? So then this is just going to turn out to be, if we sum them, 0.18 plus 0.16 plus 0.13 plus 0.11. This will just turn out to be then equal to 0.5. So you're just summing up the joint PMF over those values where y is less than 2.5, regardless of what x is. So it's this entire block, because over here y is either 1 or 2, and this is done regardless of whatever x is. So if you look at the last part now, so the last part is part F, probability x is greater than 0.5 and the comma means the intersection y is greater than 2.5. Again, we'll do it similarly. We'll just sum up the joint PMF over these values. To find probability x is greater than 0.5 and y is greater than 2.5. Sum up the joint PMF over all those values where x is greater than 0.5 and y is greater than 2.5. Right, so we're going to just sum up the joint PMF over all these values, right? So x is greater than 0.5 means that this is x is greater than 0.5, which means that x is 1 in this case simply. Y is greater than 2.5 simply means y is equal to 3 in this case, y is greater than 2.5. So the in our joint PMF, so we want to sum those we want to sum the joint PMF those values. So x is greater than 0.5 and y is greater than 2.5, which is just 0.31 in this. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be x is greater than 1.5. Let's do x is greater than 1.5. Sorry, y is greater than 1.5. Wait. We were supposed to, we could have found probability y is greater than 2.5 as well, but let's do 1.5. So sorry. Y is greater than 1.5. If we do y is greater than 1.5, so this is y is greater than 1.5, y is either 2 or 3. So in this case, we're summing up the joint PMF for those values of y is greater than 1.5 and x is greater than 0.15, which is this part. Right, so then this is just going to be 0.11 plus 0.31. Right, so in this way, we can find any probability using the joint PMF by summing up the joint PMF over those values of x and y.